I've said it already, but I really love that OST. I really fucking love the fucking Blue Exorcist OST from Season 1. Hearing the songs in Season 2 at critical moments, like when Yukio, his eyes just glow blue, I'm like, yo, like, just the song that started playing in that moment, I'm like, oh my god, just, like, the scene, the dramatic music right there for that scene, for the reveal of Yukio having blue eyes, I'm like, oh my god, like, it's such a good scene, but then you throw in that music, and I'm like, oh, it's so good. So, besides the music, this episode had a lot of development for Yukio, but also, it shows maybe the path that Yukio is going to take down the road. On top of that, Rin is also facing a lot of demons, and other characters are also developing. The side characters of the series are developing throughout this episode. Majority of this episode is spent focusing on the individual characters, not just one character, and showing us what's going on with them. Kind of like a status update, to be honest, when it comes to all the individual characters. But before I get into talking about everybody else, let's talk about Yukio, because honestly, he's the character I really want to talk about because of how his character has been so interesting, and he's fascinating because he could easily turn to the darkness because of what type of character he is. So, this episode begins and starts off with the entire scene with Yukio confronting Todo, and he, at this moment, is in a situation where he is about to die. And throughout the episode, you see it to where he's constantly just having these mind games just entering inside of his head. Todo's just messing with him and all that, pretty much stabbing him repeatedly, trying to make him see what's really going on here. And after the constant stress that Yukio was going through in this episode, and from remembering a lot of different scenes from his past, he admits that he loves his brother, but he also hates his brother, and he actually used to look up to him quite a bit. And because of this, at the critical moment when he was about to die and be just completely obliterated by Todo, his blue eyes activated. And that scene, besides the music, it was a really badass scene to show just the emphasis of how powerful Yukio might become in the future, because for Todo, which has such a large demon inside of him now that is really strong, for him to just back up like that as soon as he saw the blue eyes, it just shows you the presence that Yukio has. Just his atmosphere he gave off at that moment really scared Todo to where he just backed the fuck up. He's like, holy shit, my instincts kicked in and I had to back up. Which shows you that if Yukio is able to harness this and use it for whatever type of ability he has with these eyes, he will definitely become a very powerful individual. Now, judging by what we saw so far from the eyes, it doesn't look like Yukio has the ability to manipulate the blue flames. Now, this could be just the first stage of him unlocking his powers or whatever, and maybe eventually he might have flames and stuff he can use like Rin, but overall, looking at what we saw in this episode, it seems like he only has access to, like, demon eyes, like blue flamed eyes, and that's about it. And he did even mention when he was actually, you know, in that situation, all he saw was blue, so it shows that his vision changed as well into how his eyes were giving off this aura, which was, you know, blue flames. So because of that, Yukio was experiencing something different, and he is going through some changes, obviously, and this power activated at the moment to when he was about to die. So it makes you kind of question, why did it choose to activate now instead of other times throughout the past of Yukio's life? It makes you really wonder, like, why now, of all times? Could it be something else? Could it be, you know, Satan's intervention, you know, helping out Yukio or something? Or could it be something else? Because for the eyes to activate now of all times, it just makes you curious. Why was it never detected? Why wasn't, you know, it never... You know, why did it never come up before? Why is it coming up now of all times? It's a big question I have. But overall, though, I love the direction of Yukio's character with this fight. I knew that Yukio probably wouldn't die at all. I knew he would be completely fine. But what makes this scene so fascinating is because it opens the door up for his character to choose which path he wants to go down. Either he wants to go down the path of evil, or he wants to go down the path of good, or he could go down the center path, which is on both sides. He's like a neutral character, and I'm really interested to see what, you know, direction he will go as a person. And because of him unlocking his abilities now, it might lead him to wanting to become more powerful, to have that drive to gain more power, to master his power, which might lead him once again on the side of darkness, and he would eventually venture off into the improper side. I could see something like that happening while he tries to figure out his powers and stuff, because I've seen stuff like this from other manga I have read in the past. So yeah, Yukio right now, a very good character. I love the focus and development he's been getting these past couple episodes. Now with that being said, Rin also experiences a little bit more development in this episode, which is something we've already been seeing going on since last episode and the episode before that, but once again, it was kind of the focus of the scene when Rin was a part of it. Rin is still scared, he's shaking, he's nervous. You see while he's holding the Koma sword, you see his body just constantly shaking, even though he's putting on this mask where it shows he's smiling, he's happy or whatever, and he's helping out a friend, Bon. He still is scared. You see how the way he fights, you just see the sweat on him, you see the way he's shaking with the sword and all that, you see he's under a tremendous amount of stress because he realizes that right now he may be strong, he may be able to use his blue flames, but if he cannot use his sword, nothing's gonna happen. Everybody is going to die, and he realizes the situation, and he's really terrified and scared of his own self, his own powers, but also not being able to use the Koma sword. So when you see this episode, and you see the Rin scenes when he's shaking, it's really emphasizing the point that Rin is really worried about himself, but also not being able to do anything. And Bon realizes this as well when he looks at Rin. He's like, why are you so happy, whatever, and you act like everything is fine when he's, you know, behind him, but then he looks at Rin and he sees his hand shaking. He's like, oh, this is what's going on, and you see how he kind of drops it overall, because he realizes it's not just him that's scared, but also the main character that's scared too, which I really appreciate, because there's a lot of characters I see in shonen or other, you know, manga, to where they're in a situation where obviously they should be scared shitless. Like, they should be fucking scared, but they don't show any emotion. They're always smiling and happy and shit. And I'm like, I understand, you know, sometimes, you know, characters need to act like that, but it would be a little bit better if some characters showed fear, being scared. And seeing Rin being scared of the situation, it adds a little bit more life to him. It adds, like, this, like, little part of him that makes it realistic. Like, if you're in that situation and you had all this, you know, stress put on your shoulders, you'd be like, holy shit, like, what can I do? If I fuck up, it's all over. And I like seeing Rin in this situation. It adds, like, more depth to his character. Show that he's not always smiling. Even though he looks like he's always smiling and he looks like he's always happy, there is sadness, or, you know, he is scared inside of him, and I love that. So, Bon also being able to perform the barrier, which shows that he also has gotten a very huge power-up. We knew he was going to get one because of last week's episode, and also the episode before that, but he demonstrates that he is a lot stronger in this episode, which shows that he's going to be able to be a valuable asset in the future of the series when bigger demons pop up. So, even once this arc is concluded, and probably the Impure King is taken down, Bon is going to be very important because of his abilities that he got in this, you know, episode or this arc of Blue Exorcist. Now, getting off of the entire scene with Rin and Bon, we also have this stuff with the other characters, like Nii is back finally. Nii was finally summoned, which I'm glad to see. We finally have progression on that end. And then also, Shima, oh my god, Shima. Shima. What the fuck? Like, okay, every episode now, I'm seeing this man become an even bigger dick by the episode. I'm going to be completely honest with you, I don't really remember Shima's character that much from Season 1. As I said, I'm an anime only, and it's been a long time since I've watched Blue Exorcist, but I remember, you know, the really epic parts in the music, because I fucking love the music. However, I don't remember Shima's character that much, like everything about him, but the more I've seen of him in the recent episodes of Blue Exorcist, he's a straight up dick. He is a fucking dick. I mean, what he did in this episode, I'm like, you are a fucking dick. I mean, I understand his point of view. He doesn't care about the individual things. He thinks, you know, what's the point? I mean, your life should matter and all that. I understand that point of view, yes. However, he's willing to throw his entire family and friends under the bus just to save his own ass. I'm like, you're fucking selfish. Like, you're a really selfish asshole. When I see Shima doing that in this episode, I'm like, you're just disgusting. You're a really disgusting character. Like, you're a really disgusting person. Not character, person. Because, honestly, his character is very interesting because of that aspect. It's just, he is an asshole. Like, he really is. I mean, the way he was acting towards Rin and all that a couple episodes ago, the way he's acting, you know, towards, you know, his other best friends in this episode, I'm like, what the fuck? Like, this man is just freaking crusty. So, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of development here and there throughout the episode with the individual characters, and I appreciate what this episode tried to do, and I can't wait to see where the characters are going to go from this point onward. So, let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and I love you all so much. You have a wonderful day or night wherever you live. Please be safe. Chibi out.